Are you hungry?
Give me something good.
Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Görgött. It's over 33 degrees here, which is very hot for a Swede and quite hot for a Swiss standard as well. And therefore we're cooking something really refreshing, easy summer dish. We're gonna cook a kind of pickled Hiramasa or Kingfish. And it's raw kingfish that we're gonna put in a salt brine, and then we're gonna do a sweet pickle served with some coriander oil, and some Trout Roe. But before we have a look at the ingredients, do me the favor, please support the channel if you're not doing so yet by clicking the subscribe button and checking that bell icon so that you get notifications every week when the new episodes comes online. But now let's have a look. Now we have our Hiramasa, we have some coriander, some fresh one. We're going to chop that up and kind of just put on top of the dish. We have some coriander oil. I've done so many herb oils here, it's always the same thing. Neutral oil, warm it up 60 degrees and then mix in the herbs. We have our Trout Roe and obviously our Hiramasa. The Hiramasa doesn't have a lot of taste by itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to salt brine this first. And then we have our pickle juice, which is 1 part sugar to 1.5 part vinegar to 2 parts water. So 1 part sugar, 1.5 part vinegar, and 2 parts water. And that we need at the end. But the first thing we'll do, because it takes the longest and it needs to stay in the fridge for a while, is we'll salt brine our Hiramasa. We have our salt brine. It's water, and then you add 10% of the quantity of water with salt. So it's a 10% brine with salt. And I do the 10% on weight. So this is a kilo of water, so 1,000 grams with 100 grams of salt in it. And now we'll just have to place our fish into this. Make sure that your brine is cold, because we don't want to cook the fish. And then this goes into the fridge for at least half an hour. And while that's brining away, we're just going to chop up the herbs, the coriander, and then we're basically ready to serve when this is ready. Well, we need to slice the fish as well. So let's do the coriander, and then we'll take care of the fish once it's done. As you know, I don't mind the stems, so we'll chop up the whole thing, stems and all. A relatively rough chop. Just put this in a container. And then we're done with the prep. It's a really easy prep. Our Hiramasa is ready. We'll take it out and pat it dry. That's why we have some kitchen paper here. And then we'll slice it. So for this dish we need thin slices of it. Pat them as dry as you can. Two beautiful pieces. And now we need to make the slices. So relatively thin slices. You can already tell the fish has firmed up nicely. I'll give it a try for you. And before we brined this fish, it didn't taste like anything. But now it has a nice saltiness to it. And I think that saltiness has brought out a bit more of the taste of the fish itself. So it's perfect. So finish this off, slice up your fish. And then when we get back, we'll start plating. We're now ready to serve this up. We have our fish, we have our roe, Trout Roe, dill oil. I just put it in this because it's easier to put driplets. We have our sweet pickle. I forgot to tell you, I added a little bit of salt in there too, just to lift it a bit. And we had our chopped coriander. So we'll start with just placing the fish. Try to cover the bottom of the plate. Overlapping is not an issue. There we pretty much have it. Now we come with our sweet pickle. Just 3 tablespoons for this size. And now some of our Trout Roe. Just spread it out as you feel. They add a little bit of saltiness to the dish, which is nice. Maybe a little bit more. Perfect. And now for our coriander oil. It's not an art form, right? Just drip it out there. Not too little, because it has a nice taste. And last but not least, our chopped coriander on top. Looks pretty beautiful, I think. So that's our hiramasa in a sweet brine with some coriander oil, chopped coriander, and a bit of Trout Roe. Now, before we give this a taste, if you stuck with me this far, there must have been something you enjoyed about this episode. So do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button below. It really helps me to get my content out there to a wider audience in the YouTube universe. So please do that. And now let's dig in. I had this lately in a restaurant in Antwerp, from all places, called Camino. Only different is I added the Trout Roe, otherwise it looked pretty much like this. I don't know if they made it like this, but let's see how it tastes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they made it like this because it tastes exactly the same. Adds a little bit more saltness with the roe, which I think complements the dish quite well. And as I said at the beginning, it's a hot day today. You want something light, something refreshing, and this definitely is that. The coriander comes through nicely. From the brining, the fish has a nice bite to it. It's not tough, but it just gives a bit more resistance. Perfect hot weather dish, either as a starter, maybe on a bigger plate as a main course, or as a sharing dish even. Put it in the middle of the table, people can take from there. I can recommend it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will try it. If you do, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think of it. In general, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the episode. But that's it for today. If you haven't done so yet, please support me. Click the subscribe, check the bell icon, and take care. Bye-bye.